Hi, my name is Mary. Today FM plays the best music in Lambasa. Today FM rocks.
My name is Thomas. I'm here in Nakasi and I like to listen to Today FM because it rocks.
My name is Milenia. Today FM rocks here in Singatoka.
My name is Alfriki and Today FM rocks here in Tavua.
My name is Mary Jane. I love listening to Today FM here in Ba. Today FM rocks.
My name is Ilaiti Ambal and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
In the news tonight, Rumbuka's fate to be known 2 days before election. Rote Mumu should think before speaking, says PM. And New Zealand sends 13 observers for Fiji election.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Smith.
The judgment on FICAC's appeal of the acquittal of SEDELPA leader Sitiveni Rumbuka will be made 2 days before the general election. Rachel Nath reports the matter was called before Chief Justice Anthony Gates at the Suva High Court this afternoon.
Chief Justice Anthony Gates said any election case needs to be expedited, and this is highlighted not only in our law but internationally as well, and a strict timeline must be followed. The appeal of the acquittal has been adjourned to Friday for a written submission from FICAC. The defence will then file its submission for Rumbuka on Tuesday, and there will be an oral hearing next Thursday. The court will have a verdict on the following Monday, 2 days before the national election. Rumbuka was acquitted of charges brought by FICAC of providing false declaration of assets, income and liabilities to the Supervisor of Elections contrary to the Political Parties Act 2013, amounting to several $100,000. Appellant FICAC lawyer Reshmi Aslam shed light on the fact that under the Electoral Act 2014, the eligibility of a candidate needs to be cleared. This is why FICAC requested a prompt decision. Defence counsel Philemon Ivasarongo did not object to FICAC's request to expedite the matter. However, he stressed the importance for proper judicial proceeding, noting Rumbuka had not been given the required 3 days notice but was served with the appeal summary last night while he was in Dokundrove and instructed to be in court today. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vorengen Bainimarama says head of the Mburumbasanga Confederacy, Rote Mumukepa, should raise her concerns with the people of Vunda in relation to the traditional welcome ceremony accorded to the royal couple last week. Rote Mumu, in a statement yesterday, claimed Bainimarama was involved in the decision to exclude the 3 traditional confederacies from the ceremony held at Albert Park in Suva. Ritika Pratap reports.
Rokotun Reketi Rote Mumukepa says while planning was still underway for the country to host the Duke and Duchess, the Itoke Affairs Ministry visited her to make customary presentations to invite the Buribasanga Confederacy to participate in the welcome ceremony. Rote Mumu adds she and the Kumbuna Confederacy accepted the invitation to be part of the ceremony. She claims the ministry officials had also indicated they were going to invite the Tuidakau as head of the Kondove Confederacy. However, she claims 3 weeks later, the ministry officials visited her again, but this time to withdraw the invitation and references to the president and the prime minister would be mentioned in the royal program instead of the confederacies. She claims the prime minister had ordered the withdrawal of the traditional invitation to the Kumbuna and Buribasanga confederacies. However, Bainimarama says Rote Mumu should stop making false allegations.
Was I the one doing the presentation? It was the people of Vunda. She should go and ask the people of Vunda. But she's, like I said, she's not really thinking, eh? She should think before she opens her mouth to speak.
The royal couple were accorded a traditional welcome by the people of Vunda last Tuesday at Albert Park in Suva. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Fiji First candidate Ann Dunn has challenged keyboard warriors to break away from hiding behind their screens and take a stand for action. Campaigning in Suva yesterday, Dunn reminded those present that representation matters and young people need to be heard. Rachel Nath has the details.
Former Miss South Pacific says the 70% of youth vote is very powerful come November 14th, as they make up the majority and will determine the course of our nation.
Social media has a way of having us hide behind our screens and share information and tweet and retweet and Instagram and double tap, but we don't come face to face. And so this is an opportunity to come and be face to face. And let's get real. Let's stop hiding behind the screens and stop making accusations.
The party Secretary General says Fiji will never progress if we're not united.
Building strong institutions. That's really the legacy.
Ayar Said Kiyum claims the alternatives to Fiji First in next month's poll are not stable.
Itoke land is protected. Tenants' rights are protected. We are all called Fijians. Common and equal citizenry. That's there. You cannot be discriminated under Section 26 based on your culture, your religion, pregnancy, gender, sexual orientation, your province, your culture, whatever it is, ethnicity. It's all there. It's all protected. No need to fight over that. It's there. Let's watch your economic policies. How are we going to grow the country?
Close to 250 youths gathered at the Lodala beach yesterday to listen to Fiji First policies and meet their candidates. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
Hope Party leader Tupon Dranindalo has revealed she feels uncomfortable with the Social Democratic Liberal Party as she feels the party takes everything backwards. Speaking during the FBC TV's For the Record show, Dranindalo says she disagrees with SODELPA's policies and some of the values they uphold. Kritika Kumar reports.
They know what's best for Tauke.
The Hope Party leader says SODELPA leader Sitiveni Rambuka thinks that he is the only person who knows what is good for the Itoke.
Sometimes they say they think they have a monopoly on Tauke issues, and sometimes they make other Tauke, like myself, like we don't have an opinion that matters. They think that only they know what's right for the Tauke, that no other Tauke knows what is good for the Tauke, only they know.
Dranindalo says now Rambuka has changed his words and claims that he supports Indo-Fijians as well. But she says Rambuka is inconsistent and has never stood by his words since 1987.
Rambuka has been around a long time in Fijian politics, and if you see his utterances, they change all the time. He does not have principles that he will stand by from 1987 until today.
Meanwhile, the SODELPA leader says he has always supported Indo-Fijians, but whatever happened in the past cannot be forgotten, but one can only learn from it and improve in future.
We cannot get away from the past. We build upon our past for the future. We learn from the past and we embrace what was good. We had some great leadership in the country in the past, and we cannot just discount everything.
Meanwhile, the Hope Party leader says the voters are not as docile as people think of them, as they have already given a chance to Rambuka in 1999. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
New Zealand Foreign Minister Winston Peters has announced that they will contribute 13 observers to participate in the multinational observer group, which will report on the Fiji election. In a statement, Peters says the MOG will help give Fijians and the international community confidence in the election outcome. New Zealand's group is being led by former Labour MP Ross Robertson, who has already commenced his observation role in Fiji. He's being joined by MPs Darroch Ball, Porter Williams, Louisa Wall and Michael Wood, and a number of New Zealand officials. Meanwhile, speaking to Auckland's Radio Tirana, Peters says they hope every party will get a fair chance at the upcoming election.
Well, to the extent that, we are hoping that they're free and open and that the opposition parties get a fair go, as we would in any other country. We've got some observers up there that are part of international teams. I hope it's a free, open and honest election. That's all we can possibly hope for.
Still to come, traders caught selling rotten goods. And engineers maintain MHCC safe. Details after the break.
Bula, nevang gomal kay leloma, ngongai nakas untuk makarong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na seri.
Hoya ubasit sai lambasa, ya untuk talita na warong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na seri.
Gua Dr. Meli, ako na tao no hinga toka, talita kina na warong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na seri.
Wana ng Bula FM, nambang dua na seri namuan.
Nevang go fani na tao no go singa toka, kita untuk talita kana Bula FM, nambang dua na seri.
Bula FM, nambang dua na seri.
After a pre-Diwali inspection that found rotten food, even with maggots and insects, 5 traders are currently being investigated by the Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission. The FCCC has inspected 45 traders in 3 divisions across the country since last Friday, aimed at ensuring customers buy the best quality while shopping for Diwali. Kelly Vadala reports.
Some traders have been found selling rotten goods. Few had misleading advertisements, while some sold products that were of low quality.
We found 12 to be non-compliant. Of the 12, 7 just minor things such as prices were missing somewhere. There were 5 that we found issues where the explanations that were offered did not really add up. So that requires further investigation, and if we find that the breach has occurred, then of course we will go forward and press charges.
Joel Abraham says sole traders and businesses found breaching the law can be penalized between $50,000 to $250,000.
We found issues like selling of expired items. We found issues like selling goods which are infested with insects, maggots. They're selling goods where the quality is not good. The price that is advertised outside the supermarket, so in catalogs, does not correspond to the price that is offered inside.
Make sure that when you're doing shopping, you have a list to attend, and also compare prices while shopping around. Don't make ad hoc choices. Check for expiry dates if you're buying food items.
The joint inspection is a collaborative approach by the FCCC and the Consumer Council to ensure consumer rights are protected at all times. However, consumers are also encouraged to shop responsibly and pay attention to details. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
The MHCC complex in Suva has been declared safe after engineers for Carpenters Properties Limited and the Suva City Council and the Ministry of Employment's Occupational Health and Safety Unit carried out a joint inspection of the premises today. The inspection came after concern was raised on social media that the building might be unsafe. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
Structurally sound. The company's engineer after today's inspection reiterating that the MHCC complex is safe.
We've been through all the areas we can access in the building to try and look at columns, beams and the shear walls. They all look fine. There's no cracking or evidence of distress in any of those major components under the tower area.
While there are some issues with general maintenance of the building, it's business as usual.
There's no distress in any of the main structural components, so that was the good news for us.
We've done our checks and we're happy with what we found.
On the issues of videos circulating on social media, such as this shot a month ago, which shows water pouring through light fixtures in the food court, and another which shows the car park flooded, and yet another shot today showing what appears to be cracks on the ceiling. The owners maintain there are reasonable explanations and that the building itself remains intact.
The contractor was doing air conditioning work, and he cut a hole in the ceiling and they didn't close it off, so it rained heavily at night and the water all gushed in. That's the reason why it was just dripping.
In light of the concerns, today 2 major retail outlets within the complex kept their shops closed. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Targeted assistance like the Micro and Small Business Grant Scheme has enabled Fiji to reduce the income inequality in the society. Minister for Trade Faiz Koya made the statement at the disbursement of 1,937 MSB grants to micro and small businesses in Lambasa yesterday. Eleanor Rangai with the story.
According to the International Monetary Fund 4 report that was released in February, Fiji's income inequality has declined in the last 15 years.
This means the unequal distribution of household or individual income across Fijians has been reduced. Basically means that it's now a level playing field for everybody.
The report notes that assistance such as the Poverty Benefit Scheme, Social Pension Scheme and the Micro and Small Business Grant Scheme play a major role in this reduction.
This grant will certainly help supplement our household income. I will be able to provide for my 2 children who are in school, and it will help me meet church and vanua obligations.
or I would like to start my new business, cutting grass around and help my family in with a better life for them.
1,937 micro and small businesses in Lambasa today received up to $1,000 to start their new businesses or boost their existing business ventures.
Through the MSBG program, 35,000 micro and small entrepreneurs have been assisted, impacting the lives of 175,030 Fijians, with the Fijian government's investment of $35 million.
Another 1,467 businesses will receive their grants tomorrow. Eleanor Turangabiu, FBC News.
Turning overseas, search and rescue teams continue facing tough conditions as they work to recover bodies from a plane crash in Indonesia. 189 people were on board the Lion Air Boeing 737 when it crashed just 15 minutes after takeoff. The airline says the plane had a technical problem on an earlier flight the night before, but it had been cleared to fly again. This report from TVNZ.
There were over 180 people on board when the plane crashed into the sea just 13 minutes after takeoff. Their families now desperately waiting. Are there any survivors? This woman asks. We can't tell you that, replies the airline official. Out at sea, a debris field marks the site of the crash. And along with the wreckage of the plane, search and rescue teams are recovering bodies. They are being taken to a police hospital. The families have been asked to try and identify them. The plane crashed in daylight and in good weather. Real-time tracking showed that it was struggling to retain height and that the crew had asked to return to the airport. The director of the budget airline admitting that there had been a problem on the previous flight. The airline, one of Indonesia's youngest and biggest, has a checkered safety record. A 10-year ban on its planes entering the European Union due to safety concerns was only lifted in 2016.
Coming up in sports later with Jamie Serevi confirmed as Russia Sevens coach. But before that, here's Rachel with all the day's business updates.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up after the break. Increase in visitor arrivals last month. And in growing Fiji, FHL to invest in 4-star hotels. Stay with us.
Lola, I am Eleanor. For the best classic hits, I only listen to Gold FM here in Singapore. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Seni Rawa. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Dino. I'm from Outrigger, Coral Coast, Singapore. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Salote. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, my name is Marida. Gold FM plays the best classics here in Outrigger, Singapore.
Gold FM, only the classic.
In business tonight, there was an increase of 5.7% in visitor arrivals in September as more than 81,400 visitors came to our shores. According to the Fiji Bureau of Statistics, increases were recorded from New Zealand, Japan, Europe, Asia and China. There were decreases in arrivals from Australia, Pacific Islands, South Korea and the UK. Visitors arriving for holiday purposes accounted to 77.2% of total arrivals. The majority were in the age range of 25 to 64. And we now join Sinifa from HFC Bank with the latest from the money world.
The Aussie dollar is keeping its gains after mixed Australian housing data offered investors little incentive to hold on to it. Meanwhile, the Kiwi dollar is flashing marginal gains despite current market aversion to risk. Asian stocks are on the defensive due to escalating trade tensions, leaving the New Zealand dollar in a no-man's land. The American dollar firmed against its rivals today, even amidst rising trade tension and fear of a global economic slowdown. The Japanese yen, often seen as a refuge during times of heightened investor concern, traded in a narrow range ahead of the Bank of Japan's monetary policy announcement due tomorrow. Meanwhile, later tonight, the figures for the European Union's third quarter GDP will be released. All of this, of course, will play a part in setting tomorrow's exchange rates in Fiji. That's it from HFC Bank for now. Pinaka.
Thanks, Anifa. On to the exchange rates as set this morning. In a volatile market, the Fiji dollar rose against the Chinese yuan, the Aussie and the Kiwi dollar, as well as the Japanese yen today, but slipped slightly against the US dollar, the Kina and the euro. As for the commodities market, we cover or were down, with oil closing below $67 a barrel. Gold descended to close at $1,230 per ounce, and silver closed at $14.47 an ounce. And in growing Fiji tonight, with growth in the tourism sector, the Fijian Holdings Limited will invest soon in 2 4-star hotels in the country. Group Chief Executive Nazab Farid says each hotel will have 150 to 200 rooms that will be able to cater for more than 400 guests. The Chief Executive says one hotel will be based in Suva and the other in Nadi, thus creating more employment for Fijians. Farid says other than tourism, FHL is looking to further broaden their portfolio.
So we are seriously looking at 2 renewable projects. We are looking at 2 hotels, and we are putting a lot of money into building and construction sector. And at this stage, we are also serious about a logistic company.
And that's business for tonight. Jamie joins you now with sports.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening. In sports tonight, more players targeted by overseas clubs. And Mahrez's goal sends Man City to top of EPL table. This and more coming up.
Hi, I'm Jyotishma. I'm from Singatoka. I love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM is #1.
I'm Charlene Robert. Mirchi FM rocks in Lambasa.
I'm Soname Nasori Jackson. Mirchi FM is hot.
My name is Raymond Dutt. I'm a Baba Singh Alliance. Mirchi FM is hot in Lambasa.
I'm Pritika from Jax Nasori. I love listening to Mirchi FM here in Nasori. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
More Fiji Airways men's sevens reps are being targeted by overseas clubs, with a few expected to sign contracts soon. Coach Gareth Baber admits that the Fijian style and quality of play continues to attract huge interest internationally. Eleanor Turangivu with the details.
All our national sevens players are being eyed by various rugby clubs overseas.
It's no secret that our sevens squad always produces quality players, and I know that teams across the world are looking at them.
Apart from Chasaber Malwa and Eroni Sau, who already have overseas contracts, National Sevens coach Gareth Baber is aware of several others who will follow suit.
I know that Kali's been looked at, I know that Amanoni's been looked at, I know that the likes of Sevu and Vatimo, I like Joshua, same with Jerry as well.
Baber says the quality of players that Fiji produces cannot be found anywhere else in the world, and this has not gone unnoticed.
There's a lot of players, because of the quality that they produce for Fiji, are eyed and viewed by the World Rugby, so this is no different for these boys.
For the remaining players, their journey will begin next week when Fiji defends the Oceania Sevens title at the ANZ Stadium in Suva. Eleanor Turangaibu, FBC Sports.
Fiji Sevens legend Waisile Serevi is in Russia to begin his new role as Russian Sevens head coach. This was confirmed by the Rugby Union of Russia on their official Twitter page early this morning. The union tweeting, Waisile has arrived in Anapa, where he met with the coaching and playing staff of the men's national sevens team. Serevi's last stint with Fiji Rugby was from 2005 to 2007, where he served as coach and player. The Fiji Rugby Union is eager to see how the Fijian Drua players included in the Flying Fijian squad perform on their Northern Hemisphere tour next month. Their first match on tour will be against Scotland Saturday week, and coach John McKee is hoping his squad will continue with the form they've been carrying for their respective clubs this season. Wasnil Prasad reports.
Before leaving our shores, Fiji Airways Flying Fijians coach John Maki said they have planned to win all their test matches next month. Maki says the best players have been selected, but his only concern is the niggling injuries they are carrying.
It's good to see most players in pretty good shape and getting some good game time. Few niggly injuries, which is a little frustrating going towards the November series, so we've just got to really keep a close track on players' fitness.
With the injection of the Fijian Drua players, FRU Chief Executive John O'Connor says after Drua's historic NRC win, it's now the Flying Fijians' turn to go another level.
They're preparing well. We hope that Drua have set the platform, challenge, and they will challenge their big brothers in the Flying Fijians to go there and do their best and perform well against Scotland and France and Uruguay.
The side faces Scotland in the first test match next Saturday before playing Uruguay and then France in their final game on the 24th of November. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Manchester City returned to the top of the Premier League with a dominant display, beating Tottenham 1-0. Riyad Mahrez scored the only goal of the game in the 6th minute of the first half. The wife and son of Leicester City's owner have laid a wreath at the club's stadium following his death and that of 4 others in a helicopter crash. Vici Srivardhanaprabha, 2 members of staff, the pilot and a passenger, all died after the aircraft spiraled out of control outside the ground. A host of new features and sponsors, including a dating app, will give the Melbourne Cup Carnival a fresh and digital face for the 158th running of the iconic race. The Boston Red Sox clinched their 9th World Series with 2 games to spare when they beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 5-1. Here are some of the hot shots and catches made by the champions. That's it from Sports Tonight. Join Angie later on with weather and in new media. We take a look at several apps that can help you cut down the time you spend on your phone. Details after the break.
Narang gole senia, awama kita nakas, dorong na kare, na radio Fijuan, nandong hibit.
Ayaw benyana, ito barong na radio Fijuan, nandong hibisi, hinatoka.
Guado ilaisa hinatoka, rong robin na heramakawa na radio Fijuan hinatoka.
Radio Fijuan, nandong hibiti.
Do you spend too much time on your phone? Well, tonight's new media shows how you can use Apple and Google's tools to cut down on your screen time. It's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. Hope you had a great day at work, at school, or wherever you may have been. We had super amazing conditions throughout the country today, lots of sun, and the humidity level is also on the rise. Taking a look in the west, quite breezy with fresh breezes, tapa drying time I guess. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, no sign of rain, we had pure blue skies. And up north, fine weather prevailed here as well. At sea, easterly winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. For the tides, high tide at 11:21 p.m. with low tide at 12:07 a.m. Sunrise at 5:40. For tomorrow, more sunshine our way. The Diwali mood is getting better by day. Tomorrow's temps, all centers will dwell in the higher 20-degree range. And looking further on to Thursday, it's sunshine season again. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji and Pulse tonight, we asked, what should consumers be aware of when shopping for Diwali?
I look out for the prices for the items, just like milk, ghee, sugar, flour, and all the puja items for the Diwali.
I would look for prices, food and vegetable.
I think the customers should be aware of the competitive prices while shopping during this Diwali season.
When I do shopping, I want good quality of things.
I want to see my family, they're all happy when I do my Diwali shopping with a good quality from the supermarket.
Customers should be aware of expiry date.
Puja product, the main thing is ghee.
The other thing is the diya, which we have to buy, which must be in quality.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, we check out the Neptune pool in California. Recapping the main stories for tonight, Rumbuka's fate to be known 2 days before election. Rote Mumu should think before speaking, says PM. And New Zealand sends 13 observers for Fiji election. Now for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question segment this week, we're asking, should more focus be put on local players following the Fijian Drewers NRC win? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day, a beautiful sunrise at Levuka Ovalau on board the Spirit of Love. This was sent in by Ini Bania. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
मैं नवनीत नंद नंबुआ लुम्बुआ से। जैसे ट्रेनी नॉर्थ मशहूर है, वैसे रेडियो फिजी 2 भी सभी जगह मशहूर है। रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
सीमा नकाशी से मैं रेडियो फिजी 2 पसंद करती हूँ सुनने के लिए। रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
मैं हूँ अंकल किंग सिंगाटोका टाउन के टैक्सी ड्राइवर। जैसे रग्बी फेमस है, वैसे रेडियो फिजी 2 फेमस है।
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।